Great Demon King. Chapter 10. A Demon Practitioner Does as He Wishes. The students had gone to class, but Shuo and Jack had yet to begin tackling their duties for the day. After everyone had left, the two also separated to complete their respective work. Shuo felt the heaviness in his chest dissipate after finishing cleaning the statues. He found a deserted corner and undid the top of his rough linen shirt. He looked down at his chest and saw an undercurrent of pale green specks of light being expelled from his body. It seemed that Claude's pale green fighting aura was being handled in this manner under the influence of the magical yuan. Breathing a small sigh of relief, Shuo laid his worries to rest and marveled at how miraculous the magical yuan was. From the knowledge he'd recently gained, knights were also divided into various levels. Their fighting aura varied with each level, such as Knight Apprentice, pale blue, Companion at Arms, dark blue, Sergeant, pale green, Senior Knight, dark green, Earth Rider, silver and Divine Knight, gold, silver, and Divine Knight. Claude's fighting aura color was pale green, indicating that he indeed had the strength of a sergeant-level knight. If a sergeant-level knight gathered his fighting aura and attacked a normal person, it would deal a fatal blow to the target without exception. The fact that Shuo had survived without major injury was a clear testament to the effectiveness of the magical yuan. Shuo breathed a sigh of relief upon feeling the magical yuan firmly enclose the pale green fighting aura, but didn't dare engage in more training. He was deathly afraid that if the magical yuan circulated to other parts of his body according to his wishes, the pale green aura would be free of its restraints and suddenly burst into action, injuring his internal organs. Thankfully, as time passed, the magical yuan was slowly expelling the aura in the form of specks of light. This helped Shuo breathe a bit easier. Due to the fact that classes had already started, no one searched the trash heap where the little skeleton had taken refuge, but this matter wasn't about to blow over that easily. Seeing as it was broad daylight, Shuo didn't dare command the skeleton to return to the warehouse for fear of inopportune discovery. Late afternoon, within the Department of Dark Magic's training field, the Babylon Academy of Magic and Force had very extensive facilities. Each department had its own independent training field. The training fields were places for students to test their magic. All sorts of mental testing rocks to assess mental strength and equipment to measure the strength of a magical blast could be found within. The necromancy major also had a few spacious rooms reserved specially for students to conduct magic experiments. Shuo happened to have a mop in hand and was cleaning the necromancy training room floors when he suddenly saw a few necromancy students walk over. One of them was someone who had not come looking for Shuo in quite some time. Bach. His face was mottled with bruises, and he looked quite miserable. It seemed that Irene and Lisa had already found him and made him pay. Bach swiftly grew livid when he spotted Shuo mopping the floor. His already ugly face became even more twisted, making it almost impossible to discern his original features. Shuo was gleefully jumping up and down inside, continuing to plaster a dumb, silly smile on his face. He was even humming a few light-hearted folk songs as he clutched the mop in his hands, twirling it this way and that. "You damn Brian. When did you see that little black skeleton run out from my room?" Bach's face twisted ferociously as he roared angrily at Shuo. Shuo lifted a completely clueless face and glanced at Bach, giving him a dumb smile. He didn't answer, and rapidly walked off with the mop. "Come back here. You're not getting away today." "Bach, how many times have I told you not to bully Brian? Do you ignore even my words now?" Fanny immediately stuck her hands on her waist and yelled sternly after walking in through the door, glimpsing Bach about to chase after Shuo. "Master Fanny, look at my face. It's all because Brian started some rumors that Lisa and Irene beat me up. Brian's the bully here." "Oh, I've heard about what happened this morning. Maybe Brian was confused and saw incorrectly. He's already like this. Why are you creating more trouble for him?" "With your magical ability, you really don't have the ability to summon such a strange and strong skeleton." Fanny started talking to herself after this point. Who on earth summoned it? I am very curious as well. There are rumors flying that our necromancy major has had a major breakthrough and discovered a way to make our dark creatures immune to light magic attacks. Shuo had run to the corner of the room and was gazing upon the glamorous Fanny from afar. Fanny had tied her light purple hair up into a bun today, leaving only a few purple strands resting on her forehead. This added a striking charm to her looks, causing Shuo to silently sigh multiple times in wonder. "Brian, your agony of the soul should be over by now, and can help me practice my zombies today. Come, go to training room 3. Lisa flicked her gaze to the figure in the corner and commanded arrogantly. "Lisa, Practice is fine and all, but you can't do what you did last time and directly attack him with a ghoul. Fanny rebuked gently, worried that something might happen to Han Shuo after hearing Lisa's words. I know, Master Fanny. Lisa tossed out a careless reply and walked towards training room 3. It was the duty of the errand servants to help students practice their magic. Han Shuo also wanted to take the chance and enact some revenge, so he docilely put down the mop and walked towards the training room. Lisa closed the training room door with a loud clatter after Han Shuo had entered the area. This indicated that she wished to reserve the room for her own use today. She stood cockily in front of the door and stared Han Shuo down. You can't run away today. She immediately raised her hands and started chanting after finishing speaking. Zombie warriors of the fallen, heed the Dark Herald's call and reveal your existence. A muscular zombie warrior with a dark green body, wielding a thick wooden club, materialized as soon as the incantation finished. Zombie warriors were a level higher than skeletal warriors. They weren't necessarily rotting corpses, but rather had muscular and tough bodies. They moved faster than skeletal warriors, and their strength was greater. Only novice mages were able to summon them, so a mere apprentice like Bach would have been completely unable to do so. Summoned dark creatures could attack enemies if the summoner gave a mental command. However, low-level dark creatures usually possessed extremely low intelligence and could only engage in the most basic attacks. A summoner would have to continuously exercise mental control if they wanted the dark creature to attack up to its full potential. Only then would the dark creature follow the summoner's wishes and attack in a variety of complex ways. Repeated practice was needed to become proficient and adeptly control a dark creature's attacks through mental strength. Therefore, the necromancy errand boys often became practice targets. Up until now, Lisa and company had used skeletal warriors to practice on the errand boys. This time, however, she had summoned a zombie warrior. It was plain to see that she was up to no good. Han Shuo was dumbfounded when he saw that Lisa hadn't summoned a skeletal warrior but a stronger, higher-level zombie warrior. He inwardly cursed Lisa's name a couple dozen times and backed up, on high alert. I see you're running faster, Brian, and that your strength has grown. It seems to be a bit of an insult to practice skeletal warriors on you. So today you have the honor of helping the future necromancer archmage, Lisa, learn how to better control zombie warriors. Lisa's pretty cheeks were tinged with pink, and an unholy glee shone in her eyes. Under her commands, the zombie warrior had already started running towards Han Shuo while she talked. The zombie warrior was wielding a thick wooden club and thundered towards Han Shuo according to Lisa's instructions. Its speed was quite fast. Closing the distance quickly, the club flew directly towards Han Shuo's head. This club was thicker than Han Shuo's arms, and the zombie warrior possessed great strength. Even if he didn't die, Han Shuo would be gravely injured if he was hit. For reasons unknown, Han Shuo wasn't afraid at all as he watched the club descend. In fact, he felt a kind of bloodthirsty excitement. It was a very odd feeling, as if his body and soul craved battle. His eyes narrowed slightly as the dumb look vanished from his face, replaced with a sharp glint in his eyes. He tensed his left leg and sprang off it, shifting his body to the right by a meter. Bam! Went the zombie warrior's wooden club as it smacked solidly into the floor where Han Shuo had just been standing. EIA. Lisa gave a shocked squeal from the sidelines, where she had been controlling the zombie warrior. For the briefest of moments, the feeling she normally received from Han Shuo drastically changed, causing her heart to stutter. She had never seen the expression and the look in his eyes before this moment, and so emitted a startled sound of bewilderment. She forgot to give the zombie warrior further commands after that moment and rubbed her eyes nervously. She stared closely at Han Shuo again. Strangely, Han Shuo was wearing a silly expression again and seemed to be instinctively fearing the zombie warrior. He cowered and trembled as he backed up, giving off the very appearance of an idiot. I must have seen incorrectly. That damn Brian, how is it possible? How could he have... That kind of aura? That kind of gaze? Lisa thought silently and gave a cold snort. She started to gather her mental strength again and commanded the zombie warrior to chase Han Shuo. Although Han Shuo was chased every which way by the zombie warrior, he did not reveal the aura and look that had surprised Lisa the second time. Instead, he always managed to avoid the zombie warrior's club at the very last second. This piqued Lisa's curiosity and competitive spirit, so she fully concentrated on manipulating the zombie warrior, thinking, Brian's actually gotten a lot faster and stronger since he's gone crazy. As the widely pursued target, Han Shuo started developing a strong desire for vengeance against Lisa at some point. Even though Han Shuo tried to reason that he couldn't and shouldn't pursue vengeance and tried to stop the thought in its tracks, he just couldn't turn it off entirely. As the zombie warrior became more agile and chased after him with greater speed, Han Shuo's thirst for revenge became stronger as well. A demon practitioner does as he wishes. A demon practitioner does as he wishes. A memory suddenly resurfaced in Han Shuo's mind. He seemed to spontaneously understand the true meaning behind demonic magic, and the phrase, "A demon practitioner does as he wishes," seemed to coalesce into a voice that echoed endlessly in his mind. Finally, Han Shuo gave a low roar as he bent his head and arched his body. He changed his trajectory from avoidance and made a direct run towards Lisa.